my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. We're going to do the Quilted Witch first. And that, for those of you who aren't familiar, it is a book published by the Fat Quarter Shop with Lori Holt. It has this beautiful big witch and a little pumpkin and a cat and a lot of star blocks. And I did a alternate layout without the witch, which is, I call the Quilted Witch's Garden. Whoops. And it will be a little bit smaller, and instead of where the witch's body is, there will be stars and pumpkins and leaves. So I was thinking about this because to me, the piece when it's done will feel like a garden kind of in the, well, definitely in the fall, because I'm using fall colors, but I feel like it's the night sky in a way with all this, the stars in this particular quilt, and that they're very spread out. Just like when you look up at the sky, it is not like all condensed blocks, you know, all like little soldiers next to each other. They're all sort of scattered and like fairy dust almost, you know, just scattered around. And that's how I'm thinking of it as I'm sort of picking fabrics for each block. And we're doing sets of blocks, and so we'll be, you know, that's what we've been doing each week, is a group of blocks. And so this week the blocks are called the Quilted Spell. So we're doing 3 of them. There are these 3 here, and they're a little bit bigger size. The first 2 were big blocks, and then we went to smaller blocks. And so these are kind of a little bit bigger than the smaller ones, but not as big as the bigger ones. That sounds like a Goldilocks story or something. Goldilocks is, I forget how it goes, but it just reminded me. Anyways, I digress. Let me get away from that. So I'm going to take the other camera over there because I want to talk about color a bit and balance. So let's take a look. Here are the blocks so far, and I'm using this background. This material is background material, but then some of the blocks I'm not using any of that. So instead they have the fabrics from the fabric line and mixing it up here and there, because when you have that background, when you use the background, they do pop more. They look like they're floating. They'll be floating on the background. They won't be as blocky. And so this next grouping, I am going to use the background fabric again because they're a bigger block, but I also want them to have like really strong definition. I don't want them to blend like this. I don't want them to be that sort of fadey, blendy like the faraway star. I want them to be really strong like this one, where you just really have a strong definition. Strong definition. You see all the parts. This is weak definition. This is like that one. I wouldn't put them that close to each other, but this is just an example. But that is, you know, very blendy, which I like having some of them like that. And this one's even kind of blendy. You know, from a distance, you can still see that orange pop against the plaid. But the plaid has a lot of personality. It has a lot of movement, and it's big, so it comes towards you and you see it. I don't want that in these blocks. I want them to be that stronger definition. And there's just 3 of them. And they end up going like here, here, and here, down here. Except that I think the one that goes up here actually ends up down in this section in my version. So let's take a look at the fabric. So this is the background I'm using. It is called a cross weave. It's by Moda. They aren't making this particular color anymore, but because I even looked on their website, it's not there as an option. But maybe they'll bring it back again. But there are other colors of this, and I really like it. It's a woven, so it acts a little bit differently than your regular cotton. It's, you know, reversible, and it, you know, it just has a little bit different feel to it than your regular cotton. But this is what I'm using. And so there's a lot of it. Your background, there's a lot of your background in this quilt. And so because I want to make these blocks really pop against here and use those fabrics that have read strongly. So let's take a look at what the grouping that I have. So I've got oranges, browns, aquas, excuse me, aquas and cream. So I am going to do, you see on the block, the star points actually create like an arrow. So the same fabric is used in the corner of the 9 patch, see, so that it creates an image, a secondary image. I can't do, what am I doing here? I'm looking at the camera. There we go. It's like that circle. So that arrow point is like the unit. So I'm thinking I will do one of them with brown, and these are my three brown options, and then two of them will be with the orange. And so there we go. These are my orange options for this fabric line. Now, alternating with that will be where the plus is that you see. It's kind of like a plus sign, right? Plus, plus. It depends. Like here, the plus is sort of goes forward. That one sort of goes, recedes back. I'm going to use the aqua, some of the aqua, and the cream. Now, one thing I don't want to do is I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to tell you why, because it has some really high contrast, and I don't want to have it sort of a pumpkin be leaned up against, or several pumpkins leaned up against the orange, and then it sort of blends and misshapes. Visually, it looks misshapen. So I won't use that one. I'll take that one out. And I am going to try for this one. I'm just going to audition it and see, because if it is the 4-patch part, if I open it up a little bit, this is how you can just, try something out. You don't have to cut it. I mean, if you feel like cutting it, you can, but, take a little circle in the middle, and then let's say I'm doing a star points. So they would be kind of like this on the background. So you can kind of see where it's going, how it would sort of balance out. And I like this here. So I'm going to do one with the plaid. All right, so I have done the blocks. So let's take a look at them. Okay, so let me show you the first one, which is super high contrast. I've gotten really nail it. These arrow pieces are strong. They're not blendy. The aqua is also very soft. There's no other colors in this particular piece. And then a little spark of interest in the center with the acorns. Okay, next one. This is where I did the plaid, and I put the pumpkin fabric on orange works because orange on orange is not a high contrast like the aqua on orange, and that works. So with the plaid, it turned out super cute, little chocolate word text in the middle. And then the last one, I went with the leaves. So here you can see this directional stuff. So all this words here, there's words in here. It's like, okay, that one, the word is directional, got it going. So the leaf fabric is a high contrast piece itself, but it's just two colors, which I think help it to keep it together and hold the shape, although it is a tiny bit more blendy. If you had not wanted it blendy, you could have gone with this. You see how, that's a huge difference. That's very much, this is actually the same fabric used on the first block. If I could pick it up. Yeah, see the same fabric used on the first block. It would give you that whole dark, very, very dark. But I'm okay having one of them a little bit on the blendy side. So I'm going to go up and put them on the wall, and we'll take a look again. Okay, I rearranged things because here are the blocks. 1, 2, 3. And I kept the two oranges further away, put the one with the brown more up close. If you're doing the witch, this one will come up in here because they're spread apart because it's a wider quilt. So let's take a look here. This is my bonus pattern for the layout without the witch. And this is where the quilted spell block goes. If it was on the witch quilt, you will be putting it up there. So now because we don't have any pumpkins yet, they're kind of another big anchor piece. So it'll be 3 pumpkins. It's still very light and airy, and kind of, trying to put sort of like spaces in there because there'll be a pumpkin here and a few other down here. There's the cat over here, and those are kind of anchor things. They're kind of bigger shapes that'll fill in there. So look, it looks cool. It's looking really good. I'm loving the fabric. So it is get it done time. It is day number 3 for me to have my stack and look at it and work on stuff very consciously, the things I need to do to get my mental state cleared. for me, when it gets to this point, I have to finish this stuff and clear it out. I know some people suggested, oh, take a break. It's like, no, I could not take a break. I could not, because if I took a break, all I'd be doing was thinking about, I really shouldn't be doing nothing or doing whatever this break thing is. I should be fixing those things, finishing those things that are bugging me that aren't done. For me, the only solution is to just do them, and it's no fun sometimes. And that's the way I've worked forever. I mean, I worked 22 years in industry, corporate life, 23 years, almost 24 years here running my own business. I have loads of experience with how to deal with my own struggles of working on things. And so I just wanted to share it with you yesterday, because I thought, I just want to live the life that I live and show you on camera and show you on the channel here. It's not all, puppy dogs and lollipops and, fairy tales and fairy dust. It is often just the boring, dull, tedious things of life that have to be done. And so... And I did appreciate all your comments. I was reading through them, a lot of comments. They were just fun, very fun. A lot of you, of course, have always, we all go through, nobody does anything alone, ever. Anything you are feeling, hundreds of thousands of millions of people have felt the same thing. It's just sometimes nice to just commiserate about it. That's kind of what was going on, but that didn't solve everything. I still have stuff that has to be done. It's days worth of to just get it cleaned up, so that my mental state is now going to have a clean slate. And I was talking to the ambassadors a little bit, and it's that time of year too, where the end of the year is that sort of milestone a lot of us look at. It's like, okay, let's just wrap this stuff up for the end of the year. And I'm one of those people. I'm not doing Christmassy things. The holiday has nothing to do with it. I am just wrapping stuff up, because mentally when January 1 hits, I'm like fresh and new, and I really don't like dragging things over from one year to the next. Although there are projects that drag over, or plan to be over even. Some drag over. That's the what I'm trying to avoid. Others are planned to be rolling into the next year. So, with all that said, what I'm going to do is pick a binding for the Barn Star, and it's still wet. It's still I don't really want, it's big. I really don't want to drag it through the wet leaves right now. So I'm hoping, it's going to snow tomorrow. So it might be a few days before you see the Barn Star outside, the full quilt. But I need to pick a binding. So I want to do black. I decided I'm going to do black gingham, and I got the black bin out here. And I am not seeing the black gingham in here. There are some, but they're not big enough. They're not big enough pieces, and I know there's another piece, which means I ran out of room in here, and so I went and got the other bin, which has mostly gray in it, but a little bit of black. So that's what happened. Well, hardly any black, but the one that I'm looking for, right? There's just a couple. These two, 3. Here's one. That's it. That's the only black that's in this other bin, but it doesn't fit in the main bin. So there's not enough of that one, which I should put that one up in there. So this was done on something else. This is kind of nice because it's a small check. It's really small. This is a little bit bigger one. I have tons of this one as well. Tons. I got a couple of yards of that one because I thought I'm going to be using that for some stuff. So... But yeah, this is kind of nice, kind of nice and small for the binding. And what I'd have to do is just see do I have full yardage? Hold on. Okay, so that answers that question. I have, well, no, it doesn't. There it goes. It's 2 yards. 2 yards. And I think I figured out I need 3, 6, 9. I probably need 12 strips of 1.5 inch. I do cut my binding 1.5 inches. I think I'd need 12 strips, 3 for each side, which would be a little bit more than I need. but I would just do that because it's easier than figuring it out. So that would mean 12 means 6, 3, 6, 9. I would have enough of this. Yeah, there's plenty at 2. I do not need full 2 yards for binding. Pat, just think about it. Think. Okay, so I could do either one now. So I will decide on one of those and cut the binding. Okay. What else? I could put binding on the stars. I could put binding on the older Christmas quilt. I could trim the critter quilt. Those are all things. Oh, Greg is mowing the leaves out there. Can you hear it? He was going to rake them, but now I think he's reverted to mowing. And it's wet out. Whatever. Whatever. But I think what I want to do today is look at my project bins, because I've finished a bunch of stuff. I haven't emptied the bins. I have other things that are kind of stacking because I haven't put them in project bins or baskets. And so that kind of mental clutter is something that it just eats at me. I need to get that fixed. So let me just grab a couple bins. So I have 2. This was the bin for the chicken salad. The chicken salad. But I've already piled this stuff on top, which is like no good. No good. Bad, no good. This should not be piled into another basket. That is just no. So I have, here's something I was cutting backing. That's already done, so it needs to be thrown away. So this guy here needs to go in its own project bin so I can do it later as a project. Then what I have to do is go through this bin. I've got papers. Like somebody asked, what do you do with this? This is called recycle. This is all getting in the recycling. I have got, templates so that I could use, if I decide I'm going to keep these chicken templates, I'll store them. Otherwise, I will put them for the charity group to have. I have to file away. If I'm going to keep them, file away the chicken club. Put the books back on the shelves. Here's the books. Put the books back on the shelves. Okay, so if you have bins like this, go grab them. I'll wait. You got them? Okay. Because when we finish, I finished chicken salad like 2 weeks ago? Yeah, this is terrible. That's terrible. So I still have, I have parts, I have fabric in here that I have to go and sort. And I guess when I got this, I also got buttons. I don't even remember why I got buttons. But I have some, I'm just going to go put those with my other buttons, put this with my rickrack. And so, that stuff has to just, go to a more final home and not a project basket. And then, okay, then I'm going to do the same for this one, which has got less in it, really. This is all the fabric for Autumn Woods, which yesterday just finished that. This is yardage. This was major yardage that I bought. And so I just need to go put that on the shelf with all the bigger chunks of background yardage, and then decide what pieces I want to keep in here. And I really like this line, and so I think I'm going to keep it for a while, whereas a bunch of the chicken salad I think is just going to go for the charity groups to have. Then I still have over there four other bins that have sort of storage stuff, so I need to look at them because I'm not using the storage stuff. I'm like thinking, why is it not being used? I'm going to also get out some of the blue bins that are empty and put some of the future project in them. So that's the stuff that I'm going to work on for the rest of today, and try to get all that cleared up. So it's the binding for the barn star, and then bins. Get bins cleaned up. Get the stuff off the shelf over there. See the shelf? There. Oh, I didn't go far enough. See the shelf? I've got Oh My Stars, which is tomorrow. And it's just been laying around. It's not been in a bin. That's just ridiculous. And then the stuff in those two red bins need figured out. I don't need both of those red bins there. Just need one. The other one I need to get everything into one and the others can go over here on the shelf, if not both over here on the shelf, and clear that up, because also the Duchess is coming home soon. Oh, that is my featherweight that got painted red. Secret, right? Okay, so she'll be home soon, so I just need to have a cleared space for her to sit and be a princess, be her duchessy self. Okay, my friend, that is where I am with things, and I hope if you have stuff like this that it's motivated you to work on it. And also today is Happy Hanukkah, and so I'll be waving to everybody who is celebrating Hanukkah today, the kickoff of Hanukkah. Okay, my friends, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.